There's so much thinking going on all the time. There's stuff we see, but that's like, oh my gosh, barely the tip of the iceberg. And then there's a whole world of thought we live in that we don't even see. Like, I'll have things occur to me out of nowhere, and I'll be like, I thought that? Where did... And it's something that I realize in that moment has been sort of guiding me around in life, or sometimes jerking me around in life. And I'm like, I had no idea that was in there. I never in a million years. If you'd said, Mara, do you think this? I would have gone, no, what are you talking about? But sometimes, either you get quiet and you realize that there's just layers upon layers upon layers of thought. And the thing I realized in listening to Sid is that it doesn't really matter whether you see it or not, but it is always the case, always. It's like science. You can't have certain compounds without certain elements. It's like you can't have an experience of something without thought. You might not see the thought, but I guarantee you, if you feel it, it's in there. It's impossible for you to feel it otherwise. But I think the funny thing is, like, we misattribute. When we feel good, it feels so... There are moments where we're just quiet in the presence of other people. And so we feel a certain impersonal well-being or an impersonal peace. And it literally feels like there's no thought. And there's probably... your head's probably quieter in the space of that person, so you get that feeling of peace. But the second you say it's about the other person, that's a thought. Yeah, but it wasn't even, I didn't even think about it. It just happened. And the second you want to go out there, because it was when I was with that person, that's a thought you've created about the feeling. We were at a training like the one you guys went to. And Kathy Casey was telling the story about, when you sit on a plane next to somebody, especially if it's somebody of the opposite sex, and you just strike up a conversation, and, you only have 4 hours, let's say, in the presence of this person, so you don't really care. There's sort of nothing on your mind. You've got no agenda, and you end up having this beautiful connection with them. And you feel full of love for this person. You get off the plane and you think, oh my gosh, did I just meet my soulmate on the plane? I mean, am I in love with that person? And she's like, that's the funny thing about the mind, is we always think it's because of what's outside of us. It's just because in that moment, all of your expectations and your normal clouded thoughts about people and what they are in your life essentially went quiet because you don't particularly care. It's just a stranger on a plane. But people think they just met their soulmate. They don't realize they just met themselves in a really nice way. And this one guy in the audience was like, that's what happened. Everybody can relate to that. You kind of have that moment where you feel like you get a certain spark or connection, and it's so peaceful, or it's something, and it feels like I wasn't even thinking, and I just had this beautiful thing with the other person. It's like, no, you had the beautiful thing. End of sentence. You had the beautiful thing because you were quiet. It wasn't the other person. It was just what you did in your own mind in that moment.